Do you need a break? How about a little adventure? British Columbia offers breathtaking scenery, endless outdoor activities, and it's all right here in our own backyard. Welcome to the BC Adventure Show, brought to you by discoveryseatours.ca. And now, your host.
Perfect day. The sky will be blue. Sun is yellow by the way.
Hi, this is your host, Kimberly Henrie, and I'm here with Peter Stolting from Discovery Sea Tours. And today we'll be talking with Peter about whale watching tours. Now, before Peter joins us, just a reminder, if you have questions, comments, or would like to share your latest BC adventure with us, visit us at facebook.com/mybcadventures. Peter, welcome.
Thank you, Kimberly. Great to have you here.
It's great to be with you today, and I'm really, really excited about our topic, whale watching tours. I think I mentioned to you last time we talked that I grew up on the coast, actually the coast of California, a little bit further down, and in a town where there was lots of whale watching tours, but I have never been on one, so I want to hear all about what you had to share today.
Oh, great. Glad to help out.
Yeah, so whale watching, lots of folks from all over the world travel to the coasts to see these big, magnificent creatures. So how does that go? What is there to see? Is there a specific type of whale that you look for when you take folks out?
Yes, there is. The big ticket item, I guess, would be our resident orca. And they come around our area in the summertime, and there's about 86 of them now. So there's 3 different pods of them, J, K, and L pod, and often they're just one pod at a time, and we focus on basically the closest pod that we can get to. And they do have a set route around the Gulf Islands, which are the Canadian islands, and then just to the south are the San Juan Islands, and there as well. So they're the main ticket item. Earlier in the season, we're actually starting to get gray whales. So come late March and early April, the gray whales are actually showing up in our area. So that's something new, which we're going to be promoting more and more as time goes by, because I think it's climate change and the recovery of the whales because they're not being hunted anymore. So there's some companies in Seattle actually that are doing that.
The gray whale tours.
The gray whale tours, yeah. So that's
okay.
Your season, whereas the orca, they're around pretty reliably in June, July, August, and September are their best months. But we see them in May as well.
Okay. And what's it like to go out on a tour? Do you know where the whales are? How do you find them? And what is it like, for the person on the boat?
Kimberly, every day is different. No 2 days are ever the same. There's several ways we go about looking for the whales. We belong to a large network of all the boats. So we talk to boats from Seattle all the way up to the north end of Vancouver Island. So we're in with 40 to 50 boats at one time, and it's all a shared network. So there's no lone rangers out there, so to speak. Basically, if I find them, I spread the word. If someone else finds them, they spread the word. I've got people on the Gulf Islands that are on the shore, so they're looking out all night long for them sometimes. And other times we start out in the morning. We know where they've been the night before, and they do actually have a predictable path. So if we go out first on an early morning trip, we'll just go based on the information that they were at the night before. And then we'll just go out and search for them. And if we find them, we share that knowledge. And then if other guys find them, they share the knowledge. We're in constant communication with our cell phones and on the internet, and then the radios between the boats. We've got different radios that we all communicate with.
Fantastic. It's nice to know that people are working together out there. Now, what about the whales? How do they feel about, being watched? I imagine that, like you said, with that network, that they're seeing boats maybe all the time. How do they respond to that?
That's an interesting question, because basically our orca here have grown up around boats. One whale there, she's classified as J2, and her name is Granny for reasons. It's a system. She runs J-Pod, basically, and that's 26 whales. And she's over 100 years old, believe it or not. And
wow.
And so basically, she has trained. They're such a close-knit. They're like family. They hang together forever. Basically, the mothers, the daughters and granddaughters, they all stick together. And the fathers, they just kind of hang out in the pod together with them. But the mothers and young sons, they stick together like glue. And they teach each other, and they've taught each other how to be safe with boats. There is not one recorded incident of a whale being hit by a boat. So they know what they're doing. They are actually much smarter than us. And believe it or not, they enjoy it. They're so smart, they will actually go out of their way to see us. I mean, we abide by strict guidelines to stay away from them. So we, set our boats, within the rules, away from them for safe viewing. But there's times when you see them coming towards you, and rather than engaging the engines and then possibly hurting another whale that you don't see, basically you just shut everything off if you see that, and they actually do come towards us and just have a look. They'll jump out of the water right beside us, and they're wild animals, but they're very, very, very used to boats and people around our area here.
Oh, wonderful. And there's so much I want to ask you, Peter. How do you go about knowing the age of a whale? That's just fantastic.
Well, they're very. There's a lot of research being done on them because they are a protected species, and they actually are in dangers. We have to be careful. They're running out of salmon, so we really want to keep these guys around because they're so magnificent. There's so many people. They affect their lives. They're just so beautiful. So basically, every whale is identifiable, and they're very unique. They have a grayish-white saddle patch behind their dorsal fin. Each dorsal fin is different, and the more you're out there, the more you recognize them, and we can usually tell who's who just by our book. And we pass our book around to the passengers, so they can actually. What the neat thing to do is everyone's got a phone in their pocket now, so you take a quick picture. And then now you can identify it with the book that we have, so we can tell you exactly who's out there. And
how much fun is that?
Oh, it's awesome! It's great fun. And sometimes we get what we call a super pod, and all three pods get together, and we got like 86 whales out there, and it's just like whale soup sometimes.
Oh wow!
And that's pretty cool when that happens. But it's not rare by any means. It does happen.
Tell us a little bit about your boat, Peter. When you take tours out, is everyone sitting around the deck, or do you put them to work, or what's it like on a tour?
Unfortunately, I'm the only one that has to work. I do have an board usually, and she helps out with questions, and I always obviously answer all the questions, and we try and make it an educational experience. So we're always stopping, even when we're not seeing whales. We'll stop at all the seal haul-outs. We'll explain how the seals, what their life is like, and there's eagles, and there's a million interesting places that we stop at while we're out looking for whales. But the boat itself, it's actually a little bit different. It's like the Zodiac style that everyone's familiar with, but this one actually has a cabin on it, so everyone's comfortable inside. There's big sliding doors on it, so when we get on scene, you open up the doors and you don't feel like you're inside. There's a large deck aft that you can stand on with a railing, so you can actually get out, move around when we're on scene. So it's kind of the best of both worlds. The boat's very well. It's specially built for this. It's also very seaworthy. It's actually very fast, which is beneficial because sometimes the whales are quite a ways away. Like we have to go for an hour, maybe an hour and a half to see them. So we gotta get there quick so people can have a decent viewing of them. Whereas the other bigger boats, they just can't go there. So there might be days when a big boat can't actually see the whales because they can't go fast enough. It just takes too long. So we get it quick and safely, and it's got all the Transport Canada requirements, and it's Coast Guard certified, and it's brand new too, so that helps.
Oh, nice. Very nice. Well, there's so much more I want to ask, but we need to take a quick break. We'll be right back with Peter Stolting of Discovery Sea Tours.
Enjoy adventures where eagles soar, whales play, and around the next corner is a soft pebble beach. Discovery Sea Tours, specializing in private charters and group tours. Visit discoveryseatours.ca for details.
I'm Kimberly Henrie here with Peter Stolting of Discovery Sea Tours, and we are talking about whale watching. Peter, it's so far there's been so much great information. I want to talk about a little bit about doing like family get-togethers or corporate team building. How does that work with your tours, and why is that a beneficial thing for groups to do together?
Yeah, Kimberly, I'm actually trying to specialize in that more so, because what happens when we get a group out, I like to get the group for a longer day, for one thing. So we've got a way better chance of seeing the whales, but we can also stop for lunch somewhere, or there's Saturna Winery, if anyone knows it. It's an absolutely beautiful spot where you can get out, stretch your legs. There's a bistro there. There's wine tasting. It's just a fabulous place. So I kind of like to include that as well. And with just a 4 or 5 hour whale watching trip, sometimes we can't always do that. So, and the other thing is when you get a group together, I can say, okay, let's just go here. Like, it might be the winery, for example. And everyone talks about it, and then everyone agrees on it. With just a set whale watching trip, there's always a couple people that they just want to do something different, or it's really hard to get a bunch of different people to agree on the same thing, which is normal, and I totally understand that. So that's why I'm specializing in the corporate team building, to get your whole group out there for the whole day, or a good part of it anyways. And the group's together, they have a great time, they can go to lunch together. There's a cool little spot on Saturn Island just up from the wharf. It's a double-decker bus from England that they've turned into a coffee shop. So, they make beautiful pie there, and it's just, you just don't get that anywhere else. So it's really cool to stop there, walk up there, grab a coffee or piece of pie, and it just adds to it. It keeps a group together, and so that's kind of why I like it, because it's really nice to get a group and they're all on the same page, and you can suggest something, and then the whole group sort of decides, yeah, we want to do that, or no, we want to do something else.
Sounds like a great, and it sounds like, Peter, what it really sounds like is the area, and the things to do, and the great little places to see that people might not know about. So you can point them in the right direction.
That's exactly true. I've been running the boat in the Gulf Islands for 6 years now. I've lived there for 20 years, so I know the area very, very well. I know all of the cool spots. So even on the water during the tour, there's just so many neat things to see, and I've just been through it so many times. I can show everyone, the greatest spots. Whereas, the big whale watching companies, the big boats, they can't get into the spots I get into, and they're more focused on getting to the whales and seeing a whale, whether it's a minke whale or whatever. They just want to see a whale and make everyone happy that way. When I still want to make people happy seeing the whales, but I want to show them, there's just so much other stuff to see and to do. And if we have time, even just on a regular whale watching trip, I'll ask the group, do you want to go out, stretch your legs somewhere? And we can do that. Whereas the other, that's why I'm a little bit different than the regular whale watching boats.
Sounds like a great experience. Tell us a little bit about, I guess you leave typically from Crescent Beach, right? Can you tell us a little bit about that, how to get there, and what people might need to bring with them, and how the process works of getting from your car onto the boat?
Well, Crescent Beach is a great location. It's in South Surrey, so it's very, very close to White Rock, and it's the only whale watching boat out of there. It's out of the marina, so you can park your car there. It's very reasonable to park there. You can park all day for $7. So, and then you can go out for lunch after or before, whatever your group decides. So there's a lot of neat things to do in Crescent Beach as well to add that. And it comes out of Crescent Beach, and it's actually well situated for whale watching, because they're either to the north or to the south, or sometimes they're right in front of us. So it's actually very well located for whale watching, depending on where the whales are, obviously.
And what does someone need to bring with them to go on a whale watching tour? What kind of clothing do you need to wear? I imagine that I want to wear a rain slicker or a wetsuit.
Well, like I said earlier, with this boat having a cabin on it, most boats, when they're an open boat, Transport Canada says you have to wear the big survival suits that are always provided by the company.